Today we're going to be doing the product rule. Now, you want to use this when there are two functions multiplied together. The reason why is because you can't take a derivative of two different functions multiplied together like you could if it was addition or subtraction. Now, the way you use the product rule is writing down the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first.
Go for it.
In this problem, there are two functions multiplied together, and the first function would be x squared, and then the other function would be sine x. Since they're multiplied together, you would go to the product rule, and the product rule says that you take the first function, which would be x squared, and just write it down. And then you take the derivative of the second function. And the second function is sine x, so the derivative of sine x is cosine x. So you put cosine x down. And then you add you just write down the second function, which is sine x, times the derivative of the first function, which is x squared. So the derivative of x squared is 2x. And that is your answer using the product rule.
So now we're going to do a more difficult example of the product rule. So here we have two functions multiplied together. The first is x squared, and the second is x cubed times cosine x. So with the product rule, you write down the first, which is x squared, times the derivative of the second. Well, the second itself would be a product rule, so we have to do the product rule once for a second time. So you take the first and write it down, which is x cubed times the derivative of the second, which is negative sine x, plus the second written down, which is cosine x, times the derivative of the first, which is 3x squared. There you finished your inside product rule, so you have to finish the outside one still. So then you add the second, which is x cubed times cosine x, multiplied by the derivative of the first, which is 2x. So then we're going to simplify it down. You've done both product rules, but we need to simplify it down. So you'd multiply through the x squared, which ends up being a negative x to the fifth sine x plus, and then you multiply through here, so it's 3x to the fourth cosine x, and then you move on, so it's plus, and then you move this to the front, so it would be 2x to the fourth cosine x. And there you've completed a product rule inside of a product rule.